who it was given to. See, if that money would have went to a company that could survive through this economic downfall and that could make it through, that company could turn around and thrive. But instead, you've given the money to crystals, luxury items that people will not need instead of food or a job that they can put on their table. Thank you.
The honourable member from Cumberland South.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have a few points to make, and I'll try to make this quick. First of all, you said we were jumping back and forth. We've been on the same thing the whole time. It's just that we said things differently because you guys don't know how to read for some reason. First of all, it says in this bill that we will not bail out any companies before the economic downturn, and that's what we said. If it happened before the economic downturn, we're glad to help them out because we said we would. I also want to make a few points. You really, so I don't know your name, but you really hyped up on Obama and how he helped everybody. And the crystal example, Obama bailed out a lot of, tried to bail out a lot of companies. For example, GM. GM is a prime example. He tried to bail them out and it did not work. That's why we don't want to do it anymore. Crystals, we tried to do it, it didn't work. That's why we don't want to do it anymore. Why are we trying to stay here? Somebody else said that the businesses are thriving. It's not true. If they were thriving, they wouldn't need our money. Jobs. The man over there said there are no jobs in Nova Scotia. There are a lot of jobs in Nova Scotia. You just got to look for them. For example, in the roads industry, we are paving lots of roads. We paved 2,000 kilometers of roads in 2006. We give $345 million to the road industry every year so we can provide jobs for them and help the roads. And the last government who did any roads was in 1998, and they only put $44 million into it, which is not a lot. With roads come tourists. With tourists comes money. With money, it helps all the businesses that we are trying to help. We can bail out these companies, but I want you to know, if we bail them out, we have to lose doctors, which is no fun. The rooms are overcrowded how it is. We're going to lose police officers, which we need to keep the streets safe. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member from Colchester North.
Thank you. Somebody mentioned about the good things that Alberta and those provinces are doing and how they are working and putting money into bailouts and things like that in this economic time. I'd like to remind you that Alberta, if not was the only debt-free province in Canada. I'm not even going to mention the amount of money they must save off of their interest, right? Now, because of this time, and because they are considering giving bailouts to, like, the forestry industry, the oil industry, they're going to be going back into debt. Years and years and years of work, and one bailout to a major company in debt can ruin all of that time. Also, the companies that are going to apply for this are the companies that's going to be too late. GM, if all of their workers, every single one of them, doesn't matter whether you're the most high-tech one or whether you're a sweeper on the floor, if they work for free for an entire year, you want to know how much that would prolong GM's life by? 5 days. And why? It's because they agreed to give pensions to so many workers. Now all of those workers are retiring, and because of those bad business decisions, GM is in a lot of trouble and is appealing for bailouts. If these companies that made bad business decisions would go under, more companies that can use the things that we provide more effectively can use less of our resources and give out more. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. The member from Cole Harbour Eastern Passage.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm confused as to whether this government is a comedy troupe or a legislative assembly, Mr. Speaker. So far, we've been provided with so many different reasons, and they all seem to contradict each other for why we're putting up this strange and preposterous bill. the document that the finance minister has provided states that the global economic decline, the government's non-anticipation of any coming out of the economic downturn, and the fiscal challenges are the reasons for taking part in this strange and abhorrent bill. However, more members discussed the bailing out of General Motors. Some members discussed the bailout that they themselves took part in the Nova Scotia Crystal Company. I'd like some definition on what really is being blamed for this particular bill, as I can't really see a good reason. And that's not it, Mr. Speaker. As well, I'd like the finance minister to suggest when we're coming out of an economic downturn, or specific numbers as to when we can get rid of this bill that is being put on the table and really shouldn't be passed at all. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. The honourable member from Kings North.
Speaker, I would just like to remind the opposition that a bankruptcy is not necessarily a negative part of the business cycle. It can be a positive. This causes the businesses to take a good hard look at their structures and to take a good hard look at their structures and to reassess it and change it so that they can have a better business plan in the future. The bailout would not change their business plan, therefore causing a short-term gain for long-term pain. Thank you.
The Speaker recognizes the Honourable Premier.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I've heard a number of accusations questioning why we put money into the Crystal program. So you asked how can we prioritize, how can we choose to put some money into other programs? But I ask you, if you want to take money and put it to every program that is having financial problems, which is almost nearly every industry in the province, where's this money going to come from? We cannot afford to continue cutting our priorities. We're already losing money for our healthcare and education. We have schools closing around the province. Also, I would just like to take this time to point out that even if these businesses were given the money they wanted, we are in a recession. This is not going to create a demand for people to go out and buy the products of the company. This money is going to go to the people who own the company. It's going to keep them running for a couple months or so. And you know what? That money is going to run out because we are in a recession and people are not looking to buy these products. When this money runs out, they're going to come back to us and ask us for more. We do not have the money to keep giving every single company in the province the money they want when they want it. Thank you.
The member from Cape Breton South.
Mr. Speaker, I'll try to keep this short this time. This government over here, Mr. Speaker, let me address what the honourable member from Cumberland South has said. He bragged that this government has created a lot of jobs in Nova Scotia. Well, the reality of it is this government has created jobs that pay around $20,000 a year. Maybe created a lot of these jobs. Yes, they have created lots of jobs that pay around $20,000 a year on average. But they have created those jobs at the expense.
Wait till the end, I think.
They have created these jobs at the expense of higher paying jobs, of jobs paying $60,000. So that's why they cannot brag about having more jobs. They're saying GM is not good. We agree that GM is not good, but what we've been saying all the time is why this government's bill says that we are not going to give any financial aid to any sort of companies. That includes grants, that includes bailouts. Learn English, for heaven's sake. So this government needs to get things straight. They need to explain